Alright, well, last tutorial we covered how to do a planet similar to this, except for last time we did Earth. And it went pretty well, I thought. It was a fun tutorial. But I was thinking, what if you wanted to do rings around the planet, like Saturn? So this tutorial is going to be about how to do that. And so you should have a setup similar to this if you followed last tutorial. And so this one will be about how to add the rings. So once you have this setup going, you're going to want to add a layer, and the layer should be above your planet layer, which in my case is this one. And you can name that empty layer clouds. So push Control Backspace to make it all white, and then Control I to invert it. It's a fast way of filling it in with black. And so now that you have your black layer that's above your planet labeled clouds, you're going to go into Filter and to Render Clouds. And so it'll give you a randomized sort of cloud looking thing, but not very ring like yet. So right now we have to go into Filter, Distort, and Twirl. So you can back up on the preview to see what it'll look like. And you can increase and decrease depending on how much you want your rings to be spun. I'm gonna set mine to I'll set it somewhere around 530, somewhere close to there, whatever you think. And it'll end up with this. Then you just take the elliptical marquee tool and just try to select a bunch of that. You don't have to be exact, but just get around most of it, and then Control J to cut it out of the clouds, and then move the clouds layer out of the way and turn it off because you won't be needing it anymore. And then you can rename that new layer Rings. Cool. So now you're going to Control T to transform it, and you're going to bend it like this and sort of just try to get it to about the right size for what the planet would be needing. And I'm not sure exactly what this planet would need, but something like that maybe? Then you can apply the transformation. And so once you get that done, then you're going to hit the mask. Once you have your mask set for that layer, you get a brush and get black, because black erases whenever you have a mask on, and white fills back in. So get your mask and set your opacity to 100% with a very soft brush, and just start to sort of edge out the parts that you wouldn't need, or that in this case that are behind the planet. Now you can be rough at first and then get detail in later. That's what I usually do, and just sort of start getting the edges a little bit softer. When you're doing the edges, you probably should use a smaller brush, but still soft, to get it a little bit more precise and to get it to where it doesn't have such a hard, crisp edge. Any mistakes you make can always be filled back in with white later. That's one of the nice things about layer masks, is you can always just fill back in and fix whatever work you mess up. When you fill back in though, you might want to lower your opacity. So you start getting something kind of like that, and you can always free transform it again and try to get it fitting the planet a little bit better. And it's starting to look a little bit better. Still a little bit clunky here and there, but overall I like the effect that it gave us. And so then once you have that done, I'm going to go back to black now and start erasing some of the rings that are outside the actual planet, like right here. And this just takes practice. The first time I did this, it looked horrible, but after a little bit of work, it started to look a little bit better over time, and I think it looks pretty good right now. Alright, so I'm just going to keep it like that, and I'm just going to apply the layer mask now. So we end up with that. And so that alone looks pretty neat, and you can always set layer styles, like, looks like color dodge is pretty neat looking style, and all sorts of them you could pick. But before I do that, I'm going to go into color balance down here, and we can set it to whatever color we want. So I'm going to just make it a little bit blue. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue, a little bit of cayenne, maybe just a hint of green. That looks good to me. And then you take that layer that it created for you and you merge down. By the way, when you're doing this, it'll affect everything. As soon as you merge it down, it applies it only to the rings. So, and there you get your colored rings. And you can always, if you think that something doesn't look right on them, you can always go back and fix them with a layer mask. But I think that in this case they look pretty good. But they don't have any shadow on them. And so what you're going to want to do in this case is take the layer mask, and I'm going to take a black brush and color in some of this part over here that the sun wouldn't normally be hitting. And so just start darkening that part up. And there you have it. Rings for a planet. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks.